Today with Marvin Cole.
Welcome to Vale 24, the programme that brings you the news from around the Vale of Evesham, as well as stories of interest from the rest of the world. I'm Marvin Cole. Following a spate of local mobile phone-related muggings, the police have published new national figures showing that this is by far the fastest-growing crime in the UK. Ministers are pressing phone manufacturers and network providers to make it more difficult for thieves to use stolen mobile handsets. Our reporter Rory Keflin-Jones brings us this report.
He's an all-too-common victim of Britain's fastest-growing crime. Shane Smith is a teenager mugged not once but twice for his mobile phone. On the second occasion, he and a friend were attacked.
He just produced this knife and he said, "Hey lads, give us your phones." And he emphasised on the knife as if he was going to use it, and So when someone does that, you just hand over your phone. You don't bother, saying no, I haven't got one, or messing about with them. You just give it to them.
Mobile phone theft has doubled in 2 years. Today's figures show it's teenagers who are most likely to be both the victims and the offenders. Mobile phone ownership has been soaring. The phones themselves are getting far more sophisticated and expensive. It's perhaps no surprise that they're a target for theft. Now, the industry says it's doing what it can to boost security, but the government says companies should be doing far more to make phones less attractive to thieves.
Do you know how to find your IMEI number, which is like the serial number for the telephone?
At this South London school, the police encourage pupils to record their handset's serial number as part of the drive against crime. The head girl believes the industry should also do more.
They should make it harder for your phone to be used by anyone else except for you. More should be done for people who have their phones stolen.
These girls have all been the victims of phone thieves and are now more careful.
I won't use my phone out anymore unless I really have to, and then even when I do, I use it as quietly as possible, and I keep my phone totally on silent now.
For a new generation, they're fashion accessories as well as vital tools, but their mobile phones have also made them targets for what are often violent crimes. Rory Keflin-Jones, BBC News.
Now to Italy, where security forces have shut down the airport near Mount Etna to allow workers to clear a thick layer of volcanic ash off the runway. Europe's most active volcano has spewed thick clouds of smoke and ash for 3 days now, and tongues of lava are licking steadily down the mountainside.
The lava has been flowing at about 3 metres an hour, and that's considerably slower than over the previous few days. The hot streams of molten rock have already destroyed chairlifts which serve the winter ski visitors, and there are fears that any snow falling this winter will melt immediately, even if the current eruption stops soon. The lava is now within 4 kilometres of Nicolosi, and though in 1886 local people called on the powers of a saint to divert the volcano's destructive flow, the authorities have now enlisted mechanical help. Large diggers are now employed night and day to carve ditches and banks to carry the lava away from the homes and businesses in Nicolosi. Planes carrying huge supplies of water are due to fly over today to cool the surrounding landscape. The international airport at Catania nearby was closed last night because ash and dust from Etna had covered the runway. Townspeople have been meeting to discuss the threat to their homes. One man expressed concern that the creation of a nature park on the slopes of the volcano had prevented the construction of banks to divert the lava flow. Tourists and sightseers, however, continue to come to the area, despite appeals to them from officials to stay away. They're restricted to lower ground. Etna springs to life every few months. During the last major eruption 9 years ago, the army had to use explosives to channel the lava away to protect another town on its slopes. Jane Bennett-Powell, BBC News.
Well, let's bring you right up to date with the story now. We can cross to a village near Mount Etna to speak to Alex Lowe, an eyewitness there. Alex, thanks for joining us. Can you just tell us what you have seen and heard so far?
It's horrific at the moment. There's ash covering everything in sight. It's just horrible. It's horrible.
Have yourself or any members of your family or friends been injured at all?
Fortunately, I was lucky enough to come away with no injuries, but I have got some friends in hospital at the moment.
And what's the latest with you and your situation at home? Is there any news at all as to whether or not you'll be evacuated, and if so, where to?
Yeah, we have been evacuated to a rescue centre nearby. Our home's been completely destroyed. Yes, it's really, really poor conditions, but it's the best we've got at the moment.
And any news at all on how long you might be there?
No idea. No, at the moment
Okay.
It looks like we could be there for a long time.
Alex, thank you. I'll have to leave it there. Alex Lowe, live for us near Mount Etna. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Well, the recent good weather down on the south coast has brought out larger than normal numbers of spectators to the annual Birdman competition in Brighton. The event this year has seen record entries and, as usual, takes place off the end of Brighton Pier. The aim, as always, is to attempt a flight of over 100 metres. Whilst some see it as a great day out in the sun and others as a scientific challenge, there's always the odd one or two who treat it as an opportunity to dress up and impress the crowds. A swimming club in Australia has come up with a snappy way to make its members race faster. The club in Darwin has bought a 6-foot-long crocodile which it releases into the pool. Although the crocodile's jaws are taped shut, the swimmers say their new training partner has helped knock seconds off their best times. The space shuttle Atlantis has undocked from the International Space Station after an 8-day operation to install a new airlock. NASA has declared the mission a success, despite leaks in the airlock that forced a 1-day extension of the operation. The famous Coolins Mountains on the Isle of Skye could be saved for the public. The mountain's owner, John McLeod, put the mountain range up for sale with a price tag of £10 million more than a year ago. Now he says he's prepared to give the mountains to a public charitable trust if funding can be found to save the castle. Now for a look at the weather scene. Tonight's weather picture is by Thomas Wallbank, age 4, who goes to Wood Norton Primary School, and it shows a lovely picture of a tractor. Right, let's bring you up to date now with the weather. Here's Charles Ebuchoy to tell us what's in store for the Vale in the next few days.
Oh, thank you. There's nothing there. It's too high. The wet weather, which has been with us today, will continue this evening as low-pressure fronts move across the region. However, all the clouds mean that the temperatures will drop and it will start off as a mild night. Overnight, poor weather will move away to the east and a high-pressure area will replace it. This means that by the morning, the skies will have cleared and that we might have seen a touch of frost at dawn in some sheltered areas. The outlook for tomorrow is good, with plenty of sunshine and only a light wind. As a result, temperatures could rise as high as 14 degrees centigrade in some places. And the outlook for the next few days will be dry, bright, with plenty of sunshine, but low temperatures and frost at night.
Thank you very much, Charles. And in our next bulletin, we'll be featuring an in-depth interview with Gordon Brown and a report on alcohol abuse among young people, plus, of course, all the usual features. We'll be back soon with all the news as it happens.